I'm Jessica Lanning, and this series of videos is what I'm going to call Lanning Does Planning Unplugged. And I'm going to talk about a series of topics that come up in my office somewhat frequently that you might find a little bit surprising. Like, wow, that really comes up in your office as a financial planner? And yes, it does, because money touches just about everything in our lives. And people come to me with all kinds of questions. And this is often what I mean about how doing the money and the math, all of that stuff is very necessary, the financial planning aspects of this. But it's the people that are really important. And things are going to come up in your life. It's not about the plan, it's about planning. And you want to have a sounding board and somebody in your life that can help you think some things through. So that's what this series is going to be about. Now, most of you have seen me with a very different background. I'm actually in the exact same office that I was. This piece of art is in my office, this giant cow. My family just happens to have a particular affinity for cows, and I use it as a theme throughout my planning. We talk about the 9 steps of financial planning, and I use a cow metaphors in that. And then I also have a cash cow video that explains financial planning in 2 minutes or less using the metaphor of cows as well. And the reason that I do this more than anything is because financial planning and numbers often intimidates people, or they feel like, oh, I can't get my head around that because I'm not a numbers person. But what I do find is that most people understand cows. I think it's just because when we're little, we're taught cows go moo, right? So people get cows. So I use cows a lot. And I keep this art in my office because I want to always be reminded to, number one, keep it simple for my clients and keep it on the ground, like keep it super practical, because that way clients can make really good conscious decisions about their lives and understand the consequences of what they might be doing. So cows go moo, this is the art in my office. And I thought I would do this series of videos with cow because it kind of keeps it real. So the first installment that we're going to talk about, the question I often get in my office is, should I buy a car and should I get the red one or the blue one? And I make a joke about that because that is actually where the conversation ends up. But most people are calling me because they're trying to figure out, okay, should I lease a car? Should I buy a car? If I'm going to finance it, what's a reasonable interest rate? What's a reasonable payoff amount for my particular financial situation? And so we have conversations then about, okay, you're probably not going to be the last car that you're going to buy. So how do we plan for the next one? How do we build that into your overall financial plan? Do you have a high need for cash right now? So it might make more sense to go ahead and finance a car until you've got some of your other cash issues figured out, and then you can just pay the car off. Sometimes we'll talk about leasing a car because we know we're going to lease cars ongoing for any number of reasons, often because we just want the upgraded safety features as we get older, and leasing a car often makes sense. And then we get to the point, well, found this one, we really like this, and should we get the red one or should we get the blue one? Should we get the Toyota or should we get the Honda? Like, these are really not in my area of expertise, but this is what we end up talking about in my office because we're all human beings and buying a new car is super fun. So oftentimes I get the question, should I buy a new car? Should I lease a car? What should I do about financing this car? And those are the kinds of things that we're talking about in my office. I'm Jessica Lanning, Lanning Does Planning.